Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pam and today's video is going to be my February 2020 wrap up. So in the month of February I've read 9 books. Yay! I'm really excited. It's the shortest month of the year and I managed to read 9 books, and 3 of them were over 500 pages. So that's amazing. I've read a lot this month. I'm really happy. So let's start with some statistics of the month. So like I said, I've read 9 books this month, and I also read 3,939 pages, which is really great. It's even more than the last month, so really great. And I also listened to 78 hours and 9 minutes of audiobook, so I listened to a lot of audiobooks that month, this month, which is great. I gave my average rating for the books that I've read is 4.4, which is 0.1 below from last month, but it was still a really great month. So yeah, that's very good. So let's go with the genre. I'm just gonna look over there because my computer is there. So I've read 2 contemporaries, 1 fantasy, 1 mystery, 3 sci-fi, and 2 books in the mythology genre. I could put them in fantasy, but yeah, I put them in their separate section. I listened to 5 audiobooks, and I've read 1 ebook and 3 books physically. 5 of those books were adult books, and 4 of those books were YA. 4 of those books were from a female author, and 5 of those books were from a male author. So yeah, this is for the stats. So let's jump right into the more specific wrap-up. So the first book that I finished in February is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer. This is book 1 in the Magnus Chase trilogy by Rick Riordan. It was my reread of the month, and yeah, like I said, it was a reread. So I tabbed this book, as you can tell. I tabbed a lot of it. If you want to know my tabbing annotating method, I'm gonna link my video in the eye, which I don't remember where it is. But yeah, I'm gonna link my video about how I annotate my books. So I obviously love that book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Obviously, no surprise here. It was amazing. I really loved my reread of this. I'm really excited to jump into the second one, probably in April. I'm gonna read the second one, but yeah, I'm really excited, and it was so good. I love Magnus Chase as a main character. He's so funny and sarcastic and doesn't give a shit about anything about what people are thinking about him, and I really love his vibe. I really love also the side characters. Blitzen, Hearthstone, and Samira are great side characters. They're amazing. Yeah, this book is so good. It's so good. You should read it. It's amazing, really. Sorry for the camera angle change. I didn't have any battery left, so yeah. Next book that I read in February was an ebook, and it was We Interrupt This Broadcast by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is like a little short story, like really short, about what happened before the events of the Cackling Stars. And you have to keep in mind when you're reading the Cackling Stars that the characters don't know what happened in We Interrupt This Broadcast, into this ebook. So, but it's really interesting to us as a reader know what happened really. Yeah, I just wanted more, so I give it a 4 stars, which I'm not really comfortable giving a rating, but anyway, yeah, I don't know what to say. It was too short, but it was really interesting. Next, in the month of February, I've read The Turn of Fakie by Ruth Ware. This is my first Ruth Ware book, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only thing that bugged me, and basically why it's not a 5 out of 5 stars, it's because of the ending. Like, the ending was really shocking. I was not expecting that, which is what I want in a trailer, you know? I don't want to know the ending like in the middle of the book, which is really great. I was really shocked. I loved the ending. The only thing is that it was really rushed, which I think is just a thing with thrillers that I'm reading lately. You know, with Final Girls, the book that I've read in January, it was the same complaint that I had. The ending was great, but it was too rushed, and it's the same thing for this one. It's too rushed, which I think is really unfortunate, because I think I would have liked the book even more. But yeah, I still gave it a 4.5 out of 5 star. I decided to listen to the audiobook for this one, and I'm really glad I did. The narrator did a great job at just putting this creepy, scary setting. She was making those noises that were so creepy. But yeah, it was really great. I want to read more about Ruth Ware. I want to read more by Ruth Ware for sure. I hope our other books, the ending is not that rushed, but we'll see. But yeah, I still really enjoy it. I still really recommend it. I think it was really great, and like I said, the ending, I was not expecting that at all, so that's always great. Next, I finished The Fellowship of the Ring, which is part 1 of the Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I listened to the audiobook for this one too, and this one was a big book. It was over 500 pages, and it was basically for TomeTopple. So I participated in TomeTopple this month, and yeah, this one was for the challenge of reading a tome that's been on your TBR the longest. This book has been like, I think I have this physical copy since 2016, so it's been 4 years, but I finally read it. Really happy. And it was also for Tom audiobook, so I listened to the audiobook for this one too. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was a great start of the series, and I want to read the other two. It got me excited for the follow-up of the series, and yeah, the only thing is that it's pretty dry, it's pretty dense, so I think my enjoyment is because of the audiobook. The audiobook was great, was really good. The narrator was also singing the little songs that are throughout this book, so I think it was a great add to it. But yeah, it's pretty dense, it's pretty descriptive, and so yeah. But like I said, I still enjoyed it. I still want to continue on with the series. I think it's a great start. But if you're wondering, I would recommend to start with The Hobbit first. The Hobbit is less dense, and yeah, it's good. Next, also for TomeTopple, I've read The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan, which is the second book in the Heroes of Olympus series. And the first one I've read in January, and I enjoyed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a great start of a series, but this one, so far, it's my favorite. In this one we have Percy Jackson, so we are back with Percy, and Percy is one of my favorite characters of all time. I really do love him, so I was really happy to be back with him. And yeah, and we're also introduced to 2 new characters, Hazel and Frank, which I really enjoyed them. I thought they were a great add to Percy, and yeah, I really enjoyed them. And the Son of Neptune was for the challenge of read 1 tome and to read a tome from series. So this is the 2nd book in the Heroes of Olympus series, like I said. Of course, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. Loved it. Really recommend. I tabbed it also. Yeah, I can't wait for the 3rd one, because I think that Percy and Annabeth are gonna be reunited, and I can't wait for that. I'm gonna be so emotional. So yeah, but really great. Loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. I can't like give a Rick Riordan's book anything other than 5 out of 5 star. And between TomeTopple, there was this other readathon that I wanted to participate in, and I did, and that was Contemporary-a-thon. And yeah, I did it. I read 2 books for the Contemporary-a-thon, and so the next book that I read in February was The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 star. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great, impactful book. I think it's necessary for anyone these days to read this book. I think it's really relevant of our society right now. This is about rape culture and how we treat women in the society that we live in, and it was really great. Basically, we were following Alex Kraft, who her sister was kidnapped and murdered a couple years ago, and she was raped and stuff, and so it's her coping and grieving and just trying to still be a teenager and experience things in this world where guys don't necessarily treat girls the right way. And so yeah, it was really great. We're also having the perspective of Jack, who's from a poor family. He's not really fortunate, and he befriended Alex. And we're also following PK. She is the she's called PK because she's the preacher's kid in this town, and yeah, she also wants to, you know, trying to figure out who she is and what you're gonna do in this world. So but yeah, it was really impactful. I really love this book. This book counts for the challenges of read a book with green on the cover, obviously, read a new to you author, so Mindy McGinnis was a new to me author, read a book with an illustrated cover, it's illustrated, and read a book that is beloved by a member of the book community. This book is really loved by Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, which is one of the hosts of the Contemporary-a-thon, so I thought it was pretty fitting. But yeah, really enjoyed that book. It was great. Next, for the Contemporary-a-thon, I also read They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This was my first Adam Silvera book. I loved it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, which is weird to say because this book is really sad. I cried, obviously, because the title says what's gonna happen to them at the end of the book. But basically we're following two boys, Matteo and Rufus, and on September 5th they get a call by that cast, which is a company that basically calls you when on the day you're gonna die, to tell you it's your last day to live. And you have the opportunity to go on this app called Last Friend to connect with someone that is also gonna die on the same day as you. And so basically they meet on this app, and yeah, they're spending their last day together. It's cute, it's amazing, it's really heartwarming, but also really sad, and I really loved it. Yeah, and this one was for the challenges of read a diverse book. This has a male-to-male relationship, so LGBTQIA plus. Yeah, it's in that category, whatever. Also the challenge of read a backlist book. This book has been on my TBR, like on Goodreads, for so long. So yeah, for over 2 years I think. And finally, it's to read a dark hitting contemporary. Obviously it's dark, it's hitting, it's, yeah, so, but I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. It really I really want to read more Adam Silvera's book, for sure. Next, I read another big book for TomeTopple, and that is 7 Eves by Neil Stephenson. This is a sci-fi book. It's a massive book. It's over 800 pages. This one, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but yeah, there's some parts that I thought were dragging and were not necessary. Basically, the premise of this book is that the moon explodes. This is the first sentence of the book, so it's not a spoiler, okay? And so basically, because of the moon explodes, Earth is not going to be viable anymore. So we're following a crew of people who are working to save humanity in 2 years. So basically there's 2 years left before catastrophe is gonna happen, because the moon is not there anymore. And there's also a part where we're following humans 5,000 years ago, after the event of what happened in the first part. So that was really interesting. I really found the premise so cool, and I would say like the first part here was really solid, was really great, and I really enjoyed. And this part too, like 5,000 years after the event. So I would say like this part was really, I was really struggling with that part. It was really long, it was dragging. I wanted like to know what happened. Yeah, so that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 star, just because there was part that was I was annoyed and I was over with it. I just, yeah. This book for TomeTopple was for a standalone tome. This is a standalone and an adult tome. So, and finally, in the month of February, I've read The Cackling Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. I love that book. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was not perfect, but almost. I really enjoyed it. We're following a main character who is a Jewish computer for the NACA, and in this book, basically, again, this happens in like the first chapter, so it's not gonna be like a spoiler, but basically Washington DC and the cities not so far away just has this meteorite that goes and just, yeah, destroy everything and kills a lot of people. And so basically because of that, the earth is not gonna be viable in a couple of years. So yeah, and this is set in 1952. So yeah, World War II just ended like 7 years ago. She was a pilot, the main character was a pilot in World War II, and so basically she wants to be an astronaut. And yeah, and it's good, it's so good. And she's not alone, she's with a bunch of friends and stuff. And the one thing that I really loved about this book is the relationship between the main character Alma and her husband Nathaniel. They have such a great love story and just a great relationship. They're supporting each other, they're there for each other, they're so sweet together. And Nathaniel is just so sweet and precious. And yes, I really loved their relationship. I think it was a strong element of the book. I really loved it. I can't wait to read the second one. I think it's gonna be really great. But yeah, I'm just gonna stop. I'm not gonna read it like right away just because the third one is not coming out until a couple of months. So yeah. But I really enjoyed this one. I really recommend it. It was really great. So yeah. So this is it, guys. This is my February wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments which book you've read in February that was your favorite, or let me know which one you didn't like, you hated it. I would like to know that, and I'll see you in a next video. Bye.